Hello again, my friends. I've recently taken a dive into the modding rabbit hole yet again, and I wanted to share with you a handful of Skyrim VR mods that greatly increase the immersion into the game. There's some really cool stuff in here. So let's get started with VRIK. For the first time, there's now a full body avatar mod that responds to your movement and also displays whatever armor you're wearing. The visible avatar is cool, but the really good stuff is the weapon holsters. You can store weapons on your legs, arms, and back. And whenever you store a weapon, it's also visible on your body. Being able to quickly retrieve your weapons like this without needing to go into a menu is really awesome. And the ability to store and retrieve my bow like this feels great. It's a very powerful mod, and it's impressive that somebody was able to code this to work as well as it does. On my system, there was a slight performance hit. I got a little more reprojection and stuttering in some areas. It's not a deal breaker, but something to keep in mind. The mod Be Seated solves an immersion challenge that I've faced for a while. I like to play standing whenever possible, but when I sit in the game, I'm not able to actually sit in real life without the game going all weird. But now with Be Seated, I can actually sit while sitting in the game. When activating a chair, the mod will instruct me to find my seat and then press trigger. Here I'm sitting on the floor, but you could sit in a chair if you want to. After pressing trigger, the game world will then be oriented to my sitting position and direction. When I want to get up, the mod will wait for me to stand up again before standing in the game. It's a small thing, but it adds so much more to the experience for me. I'm much more likely to take a seat and have a conversation with other characters this way.
Seems there's always more to be done.
One extra touch this game provides is that you can order drinks, and a scripted event will then take place where you're served with the drink you request, and you can take sips from your drink. 5 sips will finish your drink, and then you're back to your adventures. You might see your helmet in front of you while you drink, but I suppose it's polite to take off your headgear when you enter a tavern anyway, so I feel like I can roleplay a reason to take off the headgear before drinking. This also pairs nicely with Followers Can Relax, so you can tell your followers to sandbox in the tavern so they're not just standing around waiting for you while you're enjoying your drink.
Here, right here. Very well. Jezargo shall wait.
I've been desperately wanting a good immersive way to sit in the game, and now we finally have it. MageVR brings gesture summoning magic to Skyrim VR. The main mode is by drawing glyphs in the air to summon magic into your hands, but I actually prefer the alternate method, which is hand poses. After choosing which magic pairing you want to save, hold right grip and press left grip to save it in that pose. Then you can summon that magic pair by simply holding left grip and doing the hand pose. This way you can summon your favorite magic without ever opening the menu. There's 4 preset poses: a capital T, a reverse capital T, controllers pointing away, and both controllers pointing up. You can also use a sequence of poses chained together for more magic save slots. I really enjoy summoning magic this way. It feels much more like being a wizard. MageVR also provides holsters like VRIK does, but I want that handled by VRIK and not this one. To do that, just open the INI file and change all the holster properties to 100. That way, MageVR won't use holsters. MageVR does provide an arrow quiver option, where you reach behind and grab arrows, but a significant downside is that you have to manually select the arrows you want in the mod configuration menu every time you want to change arrows, or also whenever you run out of that kind of arrow. If you run out of arrows, it won't automatically select another one, which brings me to Simple Realistic Archery. Does exactly what I want, and I don't need to specify the arrow type in the mod configuration menu. Using this mod, after you fire an arrow, the next arrow is not automatically loaded in your hand. You have to reach behind you for the quiver, press trigger, and then you have the next arrow. So the archery is much more realistic this way, and each shot is much more important and precious since you can't just spam arrows. One tiny bug though, if you pick up a stray arrow from the ground, you'll automatically equip a random arrow from your inventory. It's not a big deal, but it's still strange. Next up, iHarvest. This spell lets you summon tiny pixies that will harvest ingredients and food so you don't have to. They'll even grab live butterflies and fish. As an added bonus, it increases your alteration skill, which I enjoy because I almost never use alteration magic for some reason. If you enjoy alchemy or cooking in Skyrim, then it's a must. And finally, Spellsiphon Immersive Combat is a new magic system that can totally change your gameplay. I won't be covering the whole system in detail here, mostly because there's already a good tutorial video and documentation online, but also because the scope of this mod is beyond this video. It has a very steep learning curve. The tutorial video itself is 45 minutes long. But basically think of it like a way to absorb magical properties from anything you see, while mixing different combinations of powers together for a variety of effects. What's really interesting is that once your spells are equipped, you almost never need to access the menu or inventory. It's all on the fly, with the spells you have in your hands and the way you mix and change the powers in your hands. If you have the free time, definitely check out the tutorial video I linked to below. It's an impressive, fresh take on magical combat.
You won't live to see tomorrow.
Well, that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe. See ya!